How did you find out about the trade, first of all, and just initial impressions? Obviously, it's
Yeah,
just
well, the
happened.
guys told, C-Mac and the guys told me when we got off the ice. So, I think it's a huge ad. I mean, looking at how hard it is come playoff time and you're adding a player of Brock's caliber, center position, big, long, strong, can skate, highly productive, getting better with age. I think he's always been a trusted 200-foot player, and if you look at his history, I mean, he's scoring 30 plus goals most years too. So I mean, it's to get a player of that caliber is hard to do, and yeah, I think it's an amazing ad for a team.
You guys have, when you added Jack Drury, you have 4 centers, but getting a bigger one, was that like a priority?
Well, I mean, you're looking to improve your team, and like that's an area where I think we can improve our team with, and especially if you add a guy like Brock, right? And the size only helps in the playoffs. Yeah, and he not only is he big, but he can skate too.
After a game like the Penguins game, obviously weren't happy, but you come out with a win. A little happier after a game like this?
Yeah, I thought we were dialed in and focused and on our toes right from the start of the game. Like we had really good hunger. I loved our first period. I mean, we got in penalty trouble, but like our 5-on-5 play in the first period was outstanding, and I thought we could have even had a bigger lead, and we followed it up in the second and got a little bit more discipline, and special teams were good too. Like I like their penalty kill. I know they got a few opportunities, and the power play continues to roll in this homestand.
When you've got a player like Georgiev on the other end of the ice too, is there almost a little bit more incentive to kind of do well?
I think, for the first time we saw him anyway, but I think our guys' focus is kind of, like they knew we didn't play well the other night. We're trying to dial our game in so it's ready. Like we're in a playoff fight here, obviously, and we need the points, and it's important that we play the right way and play well as a group and continue to try and, strive for perfection in our game at this time of the year. Like there's 18 games left to, keep winning. We need the results, number one, and number two, we want our game to be as tight as it can be going through it. So I think like our guys weren't happy with the way they played the other night either. I think there was good awareness in our group, and there was some good accountability from all of our guys, and so we had a couple good meetings, and they responded tonight. They were sharp. They weren't leaving it to chance tonight.
The overwhelming feeling is the Avs are going for it, and Nate in the locker room said we're not rebuilding yet.
Yeah.
Is this the evidence that the fans probably are thinking of?
Well, I think they'd be pretty happy. I think when they see see Brock come in and see what he's able to do, they'd be pretty happy. I mean, on most of the trade boards that I watched, he was like the top guy available, right? And centers are hard to find, and he's a real good one. And yeah, I never ever heard that we were in rebuild mode, so it's good to see. I think C-Mac and his staff are giving us all the pieces that we need to try and get something done, and so I think everyone will be excited about it.
When a deal like that comes together, I'm gonna go ahead and assume this wasn't something that happened in 30-40 minutes. Like, how soon before the trade, like the days leading up, are you made aware of it, watching film, kind of chiming in? Is that something that's
Just
part of the
depends on
process?
the player, depends on the player and the need and how much information C-Mac wants to get and input he wants to get from me. So sometimes none, and sometimes I dig into some guys and give them my thoughts, and so it just depends on the player.
There's some pretty significant assets given up in that. What does it mean? The players talk about it being a big vote of confidence, but for you from the coach's perspective, what does it mean to see that Chris and Joe are willing to give up big pieces of the future to help add to this team right now?
I think it means that they believe in our group. Now the responsibility, I guess, really doesn't change. It's on us to go and play well. Like we talked about this, a few weeks ago. I think someone asked me, like, number one, you have to be playing well enough that they can identify, like, hey, here's like some of the pieces that we think we need, so they can target the right players. And you have to be playing well enough that they think you can go beat whoever it is that we're playing round 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're kind of comparing your team against everyone, especially in your conference to start out, and thinking some of the challenges, like whether it's, we get in, we're playing Vegas, Dallas, Winnipeg, whoever it is, and there's some challenges with all those teams. So that's why I think a guy like Brock can really help us down the stretch, and hopefully get a spot, and I think he can help us in the playoffs. He's a really good player. I mean, obviously, like, only the best players in the world are going to play for their country, and he's played for, USA forever, and he's still going back, and he had a heck of a Four Nations tournament, and again, he's having a great season with the Islanders.
Last few months,
6 points from
Right.
Makar, just what's going through your mind when you're watching a performance from him and 5 from Nate?
Felt like they couldn't miss those guys tonight, So real good work ethic and competitiveness from those guys. I think it always starts there if you're going to have a good night, and their skill took over. Like, we were getting a little bit of time in the offensive zone, and that they made good decisions, and they finished to the net. They weren't afraid to shoot it. I mean, if you look at Cale's goals, the last goal especially, and then Max coming downhill on the rebound, we're still continued to shoot the puck, finish to the net. We lucky on both of them, I think, net front, getting the screen, and so doing the right things that we talk about that you need to do in order to help create offense. I thought we were all over it from the start of the game tonight.
Megan?
The back end gets a little bit of a different look with Manson back end, Middleton back end, and with Lindgren. That's a lot of physicality,
Yeah.
defensive-minded defensemen in the lineup.
Yeah.
How did you think it came together?
I like those guys tonight. I thought we defended hard. I don't know if we gave up. There was lots of special teams in the first period, but I'm not sure we gave up a 5-on-5 scoring chance against in the first period, and only 2 or 3 probably in the second period, and then third is what it is. It's kind of games out of reach, so we kind of softened up a little bit. So I think whenever, it doesn't matter who you're playing, to hold a team and suppress scoring chances like that, 5-on-5 is not easy to do, and I thought those guys did a great job tonight.